That was Sugar by Men I Trust, and you're listening to Sunroom Studio on 95.5 WSKR Spinnaker Radio. This is your host, Violet, and today I have on Last Resort, Jacksonville's up-and-coming indie rock band. Here in the studio with me is Jacob Skidmore, lead singer, guitarist, and co-manager of the band. I also have Ben Wells, guitarist and vocalist for Last Resort. Now, guys, y'all know I'm a very big fan. I've been following your music career since the very beginning, and I would definitely consider myself maybe a number one fan, but also a friend. And unfortunately, I have had a difficult time seeing you guys live, considering the fact that the Bridge show was canceled, and your most recent show, I, unfortunately, got sick before your show. But I've heard some recordings, and you guys have such an excellent sound and vibes at shows, and I'm so grateful to have y'all on, especially with this being the first Sunroom Studio show at Spinnaker Radio. Let's start off with a few questions. So, just go ahead and introduce yourselves a bit.
Oh, okay. Hi there, I'm Ben Wells. I play rhythm guitar. Sometimes I do a little bit of the, lead here and there, and some vocals. I like playing guitar a lot. I really like art as well. Sometimes I'll dabble in that, but yeah, that's about it. Jacob, what about you?
Yeah, hi. My name is Jacob Skidmore. I do a lot of the lead guitar and lead vocals for the group, and I end up writing a lot of the songs. But I also do a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff in terms of booking shows and just sort of getting around.
Yeah, it's great to have you guys in the studio for this. So let's start off. Who or what got you guys into music?
Okay. So in my family, there are a lot of people who play music. It's sort of, I wouldn't say it comes naturally to us, but there's certainly an inclination that we have. But specifically, I think both me and my older brother, who is our bassist, were very inspired by our granddad. He's been playing guitar for as long as he can remember, and he's always pushed us to be, better musicians. And so we definitely we give him a lot of credit for how far we've come, just as musicians in general, and for the fact that we see a new instrument and we want to pick it up and we want to try and figure it out.
So I would say my dad has been my biggest influence. He might not play any instruments or anything, but he's definitely been the taste of my music. So his taste in music has been my taste in music, and he's the one who bought me my first guitar, which allowed me to start writing and playing and just falling in love with music more and more.
Okay, so when did you guys decide that you wanted to make music officially, start a band, get into it, and start putting your own stuff out?
Well, Ben and I specifically, we've been sort of going through our musical endeavors together for over a year now, not under the name Last Resort exclusively, but every time that I've sort of been serious about doing something music related, Ben has been right there by my side to do it with me, which is it's a good thing to have someone there that you can always bounce ideas off of.
Same with Jacob though. He's been right by my side, always pushing me to be better. Every song I bring him, it's not always that's awesome, but not in a rude way, just a way that always keeps me wanting to be better and bettering myself, especially after seeing everything he's written, I don't know, words are weird. Seeing all of that and being like, man, it's extremely impressive to see what he's been able to do, so, yeah.
And you guys have known each other for a bit, right? Like beginning of high school?
Not beginning of high school. I think it was really actually beginning of senior year.
Yeah.
So pretty recent, actually.
Yeah, we met junior year, but we really didn't start to kick it off until we started making music together at the beginning of senior year last year, 2022.
So what was the inspiration behind the name Last Resort?
I think this one's all Ben.
It was the group chat that we had trying to figure out the name, and so we were just throwing ideas into the group chat, and if one of them liked it or whatever, then we would say, okay, that's a maybe idea or something like that. And I threw out the name Last Resort for whatever reason. I was because I was sitting there and I was thinking, what are some last ideas or last resort ideas? And I was like, wait a minute, that could be cool, and I threw it out there, and they liked it.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that we had probably spent 3.5 weeks trying to come up with
a name.
Yeah,
that's another good point.
So, the story could be of, music is our last resort of what we want to do with our lives, but also it's the last resort of a name. We could not come up with anything else. That was certainly what happened.
Okay, so describe the sound or kind of the genre of the band.
We call it golf rock.
Yeah.
But to put it in more general terms, Indie rock is usually what we end up telling people, but a little more specific genre that we've sort of invented for ourselves to not be confined to other labels as golf rock, just so we can sort of have the freedom to say, oh, this is golf rock, it's ours. We can kind of do what we want, and you can't say that we're doing it wrong, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also it's gotten, our sound has gotten a little bit heavier than indie would normally go.
Yeah.
So I think that's another reason that we really tried to make a new thing, just so we could, what he said.
Mm-hmm. So what are some of the songs you guys have written and performed so far?
So there's one that, well, I think all of them pretty much we've written together.
Yeah, a lot of them, yeah.
A lot of them. Swing and a Miss is one, like, our most popular. Flip Side is another one that people really like, and then one that's growing in popularity, I would say, is Truth and Lies. All three, I know Jacob was there for. I wrote a little bit of two of them. Truth and Lies, not really. Still a great song. Love that song. And then, what are some other ones?
Some of the ones that I like personally, Take Your Time is a super old one. I sat on that one for a while before even starting a group. That one's about my girlfriend. It's a cheesy, stereotypical love song, but I like it and a lot of people like it. No Pressure is a good one. That one turned a year old a couple days ago. There's a lot of them. I'm not going to sit here and name all 25 or however
Yeah,
many.
it's a lot of songs.
Okay, so what covers do you guys perform at shows? Some of those songs.
So we have Are You Gonna Be My Girl by Jet, Simple Man by Leonard Skinner, because we're in Jacksonville. What else? We sometimes do Hotel California. We've at least done it once. So
Yeah.
And then
With varying degrees of success.
With varying degrees of success, yeah. Do we count Shake It Off now? Do we want to pull that one in?
I mean, I suppose I can tell that story. Real
Yeah,
quick.
it's a love
so
story.
we were, a lot of the times we run through our entire set list and we don't exactly have backup songs in case of encores. And when we play specifically at Shantytown, they always have us do like 2 to 3 encores. So we get to the point where it's that part of the night and now all of us are tired, so we just sort of have to make it up as we go. And someone asked for Taylor Swift, and I was sitting behind the drum kit, and so I thought, you know what, I know the groove for Shake It Off, let's just let the crowd do all the work. So we did.
Yeah.
But that's certainly not the norm. It's sort of when we're up on that stage and people are asking for another encore, we just sort of dig into our back pocket and see what else we can find and just, improv our way through it.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
Okay, so I know you guys used to have a band called Lunchbox. So how far do you think you guys have come from that band, and what do you think you've learned from that band and what you've improved on since then?
So I think easily the most evident thing that we've taken from Lunchbox is, just to fill in those who aren't aware, Lunchbox was a very recording-focused project. We put out 2 singles in like 3 weeks, which was great, but we didn't ever play shows. We didn't really ever practice as a group, and so we sort of had the opposite approach with Last Resort, and we've played, I think, 10 shows this year, which is, it's great. It's been great to get our name out there. I think it's improved our playing as a unit, and I think it's made us better friends, and I think that we have a much different perspective going in to start recording these next couple weeks like we're planning to do.
I mean, you guys have definitely improved a lot since Lunchbox. I've been around since then. I remember someone posting something about it, and I was instantly intrigued by it, and I had no idea who you guys were.
Yeah, you were.
I didn't go to DA. I didn't even live in Jacksonville until I moved out here for college, and I really, once you guys started putting out music, it was good. I enjoyed it. It was really impressive that you guys were doing that and had your own sound. And I mean, there's always stuff to work on and always stuff to improve on. And I mean, but Monte Carlo, your second single that you released, was a personal favorite of mine. And I have memories of friends and I listening to it on a car drive home.
Right.
And it was just something that I bonded with people over, and I got to introduce them to that. And I've tried to be there since the beginning, be a #1 fan, and even with this, I really wanted to have you guys on first.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, we really do appreciate
we
that.
appreciate the support for Monte Carlo specifically. That is my personal favorite of the 2 songs.
Okay, thank you so much for answering those questions, and we have plenty more to get into, but first, more music. You're listening to Sunroom Studio on 95.5 FM WSKR Spinnaker Radio, and up next we have Just Like Heaven by The Cure. That was Work Song by Hosier, and we're back with Jacob Skidmore and Ben Wells, two members of Jacksonville's indie rock band Last Resort. If you're just joining us, you're listening to Sunroom Studio on 95.5 WSKR Spinnaker Radio. We're talking about the beginning of Last Resort, so let's get back into the band's most recent events. So, you guys decided to start performing live shows before recording music. How have those live shows been going?
So far, it's been pretty good. A lot of crowd interaction afterwards as well. Excuse me, sorry. A lot of crowd interaction afterwards. We try to make sure to go see our fans and talk to them, see how they're doing after the show, if they thought it was good or not, And then we'll also talk to the other bands and tell them they did well as well. But so far, personally, I've been feeling really good about our shows, and I think Jacob would definitely agree.
Oh, it's so much fun. I don't think I've ever had this much fun. I'm kind of surprised that you're weirdly undermining it, but I'm sure.
No, I am weirdly undermining it. I don't know why.
So I guess the way that I would describe it is it's just so much fun. Every week I look forward to a Friday and Saturday when we go out and we get to entertain people, and we just get to hang out with all of these really cool people that go to see us play and go to listen to our music, and I'm super grateful that we are able to do that.
Same.
Mm-hmm. So, before the break, we were talking about your songs that you perform live. So, personally, which do you think is your favorite songs to perform live?
So, performance-wise, I am very, very, very fond of Swing and a Miss, and I think everyone else is. It's easily our most popular. I've had people just walk up to me singing the chorus of Swing and a Miss, and it never fails to make me laugh. But a very, very, very close second is Flipside, just because it's such a fun, danceable song, and people just love it, and it's so fun to play. But yeah, those are my two favorites right now.
Same. Those are my exact two favorites. Same reasons too. Yeah. They're both just fun to play. I love seeing the crowd lose their mind at you soloing on Swing and a Miss, and they're starting to sing along on Flipside as well, and that's really cool.
So you think that those two are your most popular songs at shows right now?
I think so.
Easily.
Mm-hmm. What's been your favorite venue you've played so far?
I gotta say Shantytown Pub. I mean, 3 shows, all 3 of them have been great. Love the crowd there, because we have regular people we'll see every week, if we play every week or whatever, and they're always really supportive, really cool people, and yeah, I mean, it's just a cool spot.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, there are so many great spots in Jax to pick from. I really wouldn't say that there are any in particular that I'm not a fan of, but I would have to agree. Shantytown is certainly our number one. We love the people there. The people love us there. Every time we play there, we play 2-3 encores every time, like I was talking about earlier. We run out of things to play at a certain point in time, but people are always hyped to see us there. It's always a super fun time. Even when there's not a lot of people, the energy's certainly there because it's just that kind of venue.
Mm-hmm. Shantytown Pub is a personal favorite of mine to go and see live shows. The bands there are always great, and it's definitely a fun crowd with the indoor-outdoor scene too. Okay, so what do you think your favorite band or artist you've played with so far?
I've got a couple, but if I were to go solely off of stage presence and energy, the winner is Seagate by far. I love those guys. They're really a complete package. If you haven't seen Seagate play, I would definitely recommend trying to catch one of those shows, because watching those guys up on that stage play their music with so much raw energy, and just you can tell that they love what they do. But I'm also a big fan of Lifted Riffs and Falling in Place, Blind Purpose.
I was gonna say Seagate killed it when we saw him at Underbelly. I think it was the lead guitarist, threw his guitar up into the air and caught it. Really cool. Thought, reminded me of Chris Novoselic from Nirvana. Very
I'm not
cool.
brave enough for that.
Yeah, no, me neither. I would lose my mind. But I also wanted to shout out Lifted Riffs and all those guys, because they've been really cool helping us get shows and stuff, and I absolutely love all of them.
Mm-hmm. What in general has been your favorite show that you've played?
It's between 2 right now. It would either be the second house show we ever played with Lifted Riffs, and Dying Vines, and who was the
Blind Purpose.
Blind Purpose. I apologize. that show was really cool. A lot of energy. I felt really good about the show afterwards too. Like I felt confident. Otherwise, I would say our most recent show, playing as the Teletubbies for Halloween. That was really fun.
I would honestly say that my favorite show that we played was our first show at Shantytown. It was a battle of the bands with lifted riffs and talk-a-lots, and we won by a landslide. And that's not why it's my favorite. I just feel like we had a really strong performance, and I feel like it just felt nice to finally like sort of find a venue that we've sort of ended up calling home over these past few weeks, because we've played there so much at this point. I feel like, you know, we walk in and people recognize us, and that hasn't really happened at any other venues yet. Like I walked in last week and a guy just walked up to me and said, "Man, you've been kicking butt these last few weeks," and I was like, "I don't even know who you are."
Oh, that's
Thank you
right.
so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just it's a cool thing to experience.
Mm-hmm. How do you think your first show that you ever did compares to your favorite one?
I would say our first show, overall, it was like, okay, it was good, and it was a good starting point, but to our favorite show, or our best show, I would say the one thing we've really improved on is energy. We've really tried to bring a lot of energy to the stage, making sure that we look the part, you know? If we're over there just kind of like standing still, not doing much, then it's like, okay.
Yeah.
But the more we move, the more the crowd moves, and so we've really been trying to work on that, and also making sure that we're keeping our music still sounding really good.
Yeah, I think we've certainly discovered that the energy going into the crowd is what we're portraying on stage. So if we start the wave, the crowd will certainly catch on, and it's a lot more fun when everyone's having a good time. Our first show, we were very focused on the actual quality of the music, and that's not to say that we're not anymore, but the last couple of weeks, you know, we have our little pep talks before the show, and usually it's just we huddle up outside of my car while we're loading in, and it's a sort of, you know, let's go in there, let's have fun. You know, if we don't do a great job, we've always got next week, we can work on it. Let's go in there, let's have a good time, and let's let people enjoy their Friday, Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really helped.
I've seen quite a bit about you guys posting about starting to record music. So how do you think that's going right now?
I'm so excited. Like to be completely honest, as much as I love playing shows every week, I'm very excited to be back in the studio and to be getting ready to actually put out music. Because, you know, every week we play a show, and there's all of the new people who are like, "Oh, do you guys have Spotify?" And I have to say no every week, and I feel like we probably lose a lot of traction because of that. But I'm super excited to get our music out there and have it just in a place where people can listen to it whenever they want for free.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited about it. I just can't wait to hear it as a full recording and like a proper mix. I'm really excited to hear it and see what we've done.
What's been the most recent song you've recorded?
Be Swing and a Miss, I believe.
Yeah, I mean it's
we're
not
working
done.
on it. It's not fully done, but it's the most recent one that we've started to kind of pick up the pace on.
Mm-hmm. So this one's a little different. So what do you think is your favorite moment so far with the band? Like your best overall, maybe funniest, or most emotional that you think is?
Can I give a top 3?
You can give a top 3.
I think I might do the top 3.
I think I have my top 3 ready.
Okay, let's start with
So
Jacob.
you go
Okay.
and I'll think.
So my number 3 favorite moment is it's sort of a collection of moments, because there's a lot of times where I'm up on stage with these guys that are quite literally my best friends and my brothers. You know, I'm not related to 2 of them, but you know, it feels that way. But I love getting to play these songs with these guys that we've written and that we've practiced and that we've, you know, slaved over for hours on end. And I love looking across the stage and looking over at Ben and seeing a big dopey old smile on his face. Tim will do a cool bass fill, and I'll look over at him, and you know, we exchange a nod, and it's just it's a really cool feeling to be up there and sharing that moment with the guys in the audience. But for like more specific favorite moments, there was, I think it was 2 Shantytown shows ago, our second Shantytown show, we were playing Swing and a Miss as usual, and I decided, okay, I need to do something to spice up the solo. If you don't know, Swing and a Miss has like a 3.5-minute guitar solo at the end. It's fantastic. People love it. But you know, eventually you run out of moves. So I take the guitar and I sling it up behind my head, and I play it behind my head for like a minute and a half, and people went absolutely crazy.
Dude, I went crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a super fun moment. But I think my favorite moment of all time which actually a lot of people might not know about, and you might have forgot. But what was when we sang that song for Sam at his last show at the second house party.
Yeah.
So Sam, our old bassist, moved to London a couple months ago, and at the last show that we played with him, we wrote a song dedicated to him, and we didn't tell him about it. So we sang it for him as a going away gift, and it was really emotional, I think, for all of us, because it's hard to build something like that with someone and then sort of send them away and continue without them. But he's doing really well over there, and we're doing really well over here. So.
Yeah, I will say my number 3 is the same as you, and I'm not copying you. I had the same
okay.
thought. Like, looking over and just seeing you guys is like a part of all, like, the whole reason I do it. You know, is just being able to do all this with you guys. So it's a lot of fun. I love you guys. I'm trying to think of a top one. Like, there's so many that we just, even like little ones where we'll just go get McDonald's after a show or something, and like have encounters with random people, just very strange, you know, stuff like that. That's always fun. I don't want to copy you, so I'll say number 2 is the Sam show. Okay. So that way, because I do want to have that in my top. It was really fun. I'm going to just go with the time that we almost, well, I got robbed. Jackson had to give the guy the money to get away from him, because we went to McDonald's, and it was a big interaction. Very fun. Very inside joke, but, yeah.
Okay, then. Okay, well, this is going quite well, and I'll have the last bit of the questions coming up in about 10 minutes. But first, some more hand-selected songs for y'all. You're listening to Sunroom Studio on 95.5 WSKR Spinnaker Radio. Up next, we have My Kind of Woman by Mac DeMarco. And we're back. That was Out of Tune by the Backseat Lovers. I'm in the studio with Jacob Skidmore and Ben Wells, 2 members from Last Resort, Jacksonville's up-and-coming indie rock band. If you're just joining us, we've talked about the band's early beginnings and current happenings, and now, finally, we're going to talk about what's coming up for the band. So, what bands do you want to perform with in the future?
I think a realistic and attainable goal, but also one that's on the top of our list, is Mustard Service for sure. We met them a couple weeks ago. We've been seeing them. We went to a lot of their shows on their tour. But we're big fans of them, and I think that's a realistic goal. But also there are a couple of other just sort of underground groups that I listen to. Beach Fuzz would be fun. Happy Return would be fun. You know, I'm not going to say something like, oh, we want to play with Justin Bieber, because, you know, we don't. Like, I'm not in it just to do that.
Yeah, no. I think Mustard Service is my top pick as well.
Fair.
Okay. What venues would you guys really like to play? Maybe some local ones, or are you thinking like long-term, very big venues?
I mean, I can give an answer to both. I think the main local one that we've been looking to play is Murray Hill Theater. Great people, great venue, just a cool place to be. A lot of great bands have played there. But I think in terms of more generalized, I actually can't really think of anything.
I definitely know we want to play Kona again. Kona was really fun. I guess a big goal, like a long-term one, would be the St. Augustine amphitheater. You know, because that's
when we're famous.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, it's still a goal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Where do you think you see the band in a year?
Playing shows, having a lot of music out there for people to listen to, hopefully with a dedicated group of people that really like our music and really like us as people, and that, are very supportive. A good place, really. That's the easiest way to put it. A good place.
I agree. A good place would be nice. Hopefully we'll have an album out too. We have plans. I don't know.
Plans.
Yeah. Maybe. Who knows?
We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Got a year.
So if the band doesn't work out, what do you guys want to do with yourselves?
I think if the band doesn't work out, I'm going to pursue a solo career in music, and if that doesn't work out, my fallback plan is computer engineering.
For me, maybe some form of art, like drawing, painting, something like that. And if not, then business. We'll see where that goes.
Mm-hmm. Ben, you're a current student at UNF, just like me. You're a business major, aren't you?
That I am, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I can fall back on that.
You saying you want to run like a caricature stand on the beach? Or?
I would totally do that, dude.
I'll help you.
Please.
Do the really, really bad ones
Yeah.
that make people cry.
No, yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. So what can we look forward to from Last Resort in the next 6 months?
I mean, easily a couple singles, Swing and a Miss notably. I don't want to say it because the other guys are going to be like, oh, why'd you give us a deadline? But I think it's reasonable to assume that Swing and a Miss will be out by January.
Yeah.
So certainly a couple singles, definitely a lot more shows. Probably some more interviews like this. We hope. We're still trying to get our name out there. We've got a bunch of things that we're trying to line up just to sort of give people more content and get us out there more.
What are your upcoming show dates, and where are those going to be?
Well, we have one coming up November 25th, I believe, under the bridge. So that'll be a big show. And then we have one January 4th, I believe,
for show 2024.
at Jackrabbits.
Yeah, we're sort of done-ish playing shows for the year because we're getting into a space where, like I said, we're wanting to sort of focus on recording and sort of looking at our sound as a unit and expanding on it. So we've got November 25th, we're playing Under the Bridge, which got rescheduled from a month ago, and then our next show after that is the first show of 2024. We're playing Jackrabbits with Blind Purpose, Falling in Place, and we're opening for a band that's on tour called 3 Exits from Hattiesburg, I think. 2 Hattiesburg? 1 and 2.
Very cool, very cool. So where can we find some more information, or we can listen to your music?
Well, we do have an Instagram. We have a YouTube page, and then I believe we just put up a Spotify recently. There's nothing on it, but you could go to it if you wanted to.
Yeah, you can find us on Instagram at last.resort.wav. If you look up Last Resort Band Jax on YouTube, you can find us. We have a website called lastresortjax.com. And we do have a TikTok at Last Resort Band, so you can go look at that as well.
I forgot about the
There's
TikTok.
And we're hoping to post some clips from the show too.
Yes,
Yeah,
that is a goal.
and make some more content out of that.
Yep.
Okay, well, Jacob, Ben, thank you so much for coming on the show for my first live radio interview. It was so great to have you guys, and I really, really hope to have you guys on again. And I really hope to see what the band's gonna do. I'm really happy how far you guys have come from Lunchbox and now Last Resort and all the music that you're coming out with and your shows. I can't wait to finally go to one. I mean, with all the problems I've had with that. And if you guys want to check out any more about Last Resort, you can go to their social media, their Instagram, last.resort.wav. You can find their link tree and find everything else. Thank you so much to everyone who's tuned in to hear my first show. I'll be hosting Sunroom Studio every Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. I've been Violet, and this is 95.5 FM WSKR Spinnaker Radio. Have a wonderful day, everyone.